Hello students, after studying this module, you shall be able to know the background of humanistic and existential psychology, learn about the factors contributing to the emergence of these schools of psychology, identify the contribution of different humanistic and existential psychologists. It is a part of the third force of movement in contemporary psychology. It emerged as a school of thought in psychology in reaction to the pessimistic view held by behaviorism and psychoanalysis about human nature. The roots of humanistic school of thought can be found in the writing of Maslow, Rogers, Jung, Kohut, Horney, and Alport. Although humanistic theories differ widely in concept, there are some common elements that constitute the major tenets of this school of thought. The experiencing person is of primary interest. Humans are not simply objects of study, they must be understood in terms of their own subjective view of the world, their perception of self, and their feeling of self worth. Immediate personal subjective experience is considered as a major determinant of behavior. Focus is on the present. Although the importance of past experience is not denied, the focus is on the present. Past influences are important only to the extent that they have brought the person to the present situation. Past experiences don't shape the entire individual life and the adult life, and the capacity to go on is both real and powerful. Emphasis is on personal growth. People have a need to develop their potential and capabilities. Once freed from negative situational conditions, the actualizing tendencies should actively guide people to choose life enhancing situations. Thus, growth and self actualizations are the criteria of psychological health, not merely ego control or adjustment to the environment. Personality is viewed as holistic. People are not seen as the sum of discrete traits that each influence behavior in different ways. People's separate acts are explained in terms of their entire personalities. Emphasis is on the personal responsibility. Each of us is largely responsible for what happens to us. Our fate is mostly in our own hands. We are not merely chips driven here and thereby dark forces within our personalities. Ultimate value is placed on the innate qualities and dignity of the person. People are basically good and possess inherent positive qualities. The objective of psychology is to understand, not to predict or control people. Focus is directly on improvement. The goal of psychology is to make life more palatable, not to dredge up painful memories that are sometimes better left repressed. Emphasis is on the person's ability to grow to higher level of functioning. Existential psychology. The term existentialism has been defined as a philosophical movement which emphasized on how an individual existence is characterized by a sense of disorientation and confusion in the face of an apparently meaningless or absurd world. Soren Kierkegaard is considered as the first existentialist philosopher, but he did not use the term existentialism. He talked about basic realities of human existence or Diesens. Thus, existentialism as a school of thought is concerned with the nature of being. Existentialism has been interpreted by various psychologists and philosophers in different ways, but there are common elements that constitute the major tenets of this school of thought. Existentialists believe that existence take precedence over essence. The term existence here means to emerge or to become, while essence refers to a static state. Thus, existence connotes change and development, while essence signifies finality or saturation. Existentialists believe that humans are both subjective and objective, and they must not lead an authentic and active life to search the truth for their existence. They oppose the split between the subject and the object. Humans are always searching for the meaning of their existence. They are consciously or unconsciously asking questions related to their being, like who am I? What is the purpose of my life? What does humanity mean to me? Humans are themselves the reason of what they are and what they become. Though they form healthy and productive interpersonal relationships with others, ultimately they are alone. The choices that they make in their lives are solely theirs. Existentialists believe that theories tend to dehumanize individuals and objectify them. Thus, they are strongly against theories. For them, authentic experiences matter more than the artificial explanation of the human nature. Now, humanistic theories of personality. Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow is considered to be one of the important proponents of humanistic psychology. He criticized psychology for its pessimistic and negative outlook about human nature. Most of his findings are based upon his investigation of healthy and creative person. According to him, all humans are inherently good, capable and creative beings who have a free will and an urge to grow, develop and unfold their inner potential. He proposed a theory of hierarchy of need that includes physiological needs, safety needs, belongingness and love needs and esteem needs and self-actualization needs. These needs are arranged in a hierarchical manner with self-actualization at the top of the pyramid. Lowest needs are dominant than the higher needs. As the lower needs get fulfilled, they give way to the higher ones. Lower needs arise from a defect in a person and the higher needs arise from the person striving for a personal growth. He also did extensive study on self-actualizing individuals who have reached their inner potential. Their development proceeds from within rather than from without. They are independent, spontaneous, realistically oriented, empathizing and creative people whose lives are often centered around the mankind. Now, Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers views human beings as rational beings who are not controlled by their unconscious forces. His approach was based on the concept of phenomenology, understanding the person with reference to his immediate conscious experience. He believed that human beings show many positive characteristics and move over the course of their life toward becoming fully functional person. As children engage in these process, they begin to view their own behavior as a separate entity. This self-experience developed into a self-concept which consists of all the ideas, perception and values that characterize I or me. The individual evaluates every experience in relation to this perceived self, and if the incongruence becomes too great, the defense may break down, resulting in severe anxiety or other forms of emotional disturbances. The well-adjusted person, in contrast, has a self-concept that is consistent with the thought, experience and behavior. Similarly, incongruence between the real self and the ideal self, conception of the kind of a person one would like to be, also results in an unhappy, dissatisfied person. Rogers maintained that people are likely to be fully functioning, congruent people if they are brought up with unconditional positive regard. This means that they feel themselves valued by parents and others even when their feeling, attitudes and behavior are less than ideal. According to Rogers, this need for positive regard is universal and persistent. If parents offer only conditional positive regard, valuing the child only when he/she behaves, thinks or feels correctly, the child is likely to distort his or her self-concept. Unfortunately, Rogers observed that many children are raised with conditional positive regard. People treated with conditional positive regard begin to suppress or deny their feelings or actions that they believe are unacceptable to those they love. This results in low self-regard, inaccurate perception of reality, defensiveness, depression and unhappiness. Existential theory of personality, Swiss School of Bayesian analysis. Ludwig Binswanger. Binswanger contributed much to the idea of existence in the school of existential psychology. He believed that human existence was complex in that one has control over how one exists. He pointed out that humans have the choice of existing in whichever way they want. He therefore believed that such an existence transcends the being, making the being accessible to itself in numerous different outcomes in life based on the existential path one chooses. In addition to this belief, he also thought that every person has a unique personality which can be observed only by looking at it holistically. He argued that there are three modes of existence that separate human and non-human. Umwelt, it can apply to both non-human animals and human. It is the relationship between the organism and its environment. However, according to him, non-human animals cannot possess the world as humans do. Mitwelt, it refers to the world that we share with other human beings as a result of our interaction with them. This mode of existence mainly applies to human in terms of their social relationship. Eigenwelt, it refers to the relationship that a person has with himself. It includes a person's subjective experience, which is the most difficult to grasp because of ambiguity of its definition. Now, Medrod Boss. According to Boyce, Boss feels that the idea of people coming to the world with preformed expectations distract from the more basic existential point that the world is not something we interpret but something that reveals itself to the light of Dasein. Boyer further noted that the analogy of light played an important role in Boss theory. Boss viewed Dasein as a lamination which brought things into light. This idea has a profound effect on how Boss understood things like psychopathology, defenses, therapeutic style, and the interpretation of the dreams. Defensiveness, for example, is a matter of not illuminating some aspect of life, and psychopathology is analogous to choosing to live in a darkness. Medrod Boss developed a form of psychotherapy called Dasein analysis, which united the psychotherapeutic practice of psychoanalysis with the existential phenomenological philosophy of Martin Heidegger. Therapy, according to Boss, involved letting things go, which he called Gelassenheit. He believed that most of try to hold on to our lives in trying to control it, but this life is too much for us. Instead, we should trust our fates more and go with the flow. Instead of keeping the light of Dyson tightly focused, we should let it shine more freely. Boss concentrated on Heidegger's concept of existentials, the things in life that we all have to deal with. He was interested, for example, in how people see spaces and time, not the physical space and time, but the human space and time, personal space and time. He also interested in how we relate to our bodies. He gave the concept of bodying forth. It means that a person's openness to the world will be expressed to his bodily openness and his extension of this body out into his world. He also concentrated on human relate to others. He believed that humans are not just confined to their bodies. Rather, human existence is a shared existence through which each person tries to eliminate the other by sharing their experiences. A particularly Bossian's concern is mood or attunement. As Boyce noted, Boss suggested that while we are always illuminating the world, we sometimes illuminate one thing more than another or illuminate with different hues. Viennese School of Logotherapy. Now, Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl set forth a system of thought called the logotherapy. Human need for a purposeful or a meaningful existence is the core idea of Franklin's system. He's argued that this is the need is easily frustrated, and this frustration can sometimes be caused by the very system of psychology and philosophy that have been designed to alleviate the human suffering. For instance, he said that human beings may experience despair and meaningless if they are taught that they are nothing more than a product of conditioning, or that their mind is only governed by the play of unconscious forces. Though he recognized that some human problems can stem from maladaptive conditioning of behavior or frustration of his instinctual drive such as sex, he still argued that most human problems are caused by the individual's ability to find meaning in his or her life. Thus, in addition to psychogenic neurosis, there are what Frankl calls noogenic neurosis, which refers to the neurosis that results from existential distress and a failure to find a worth in life. Frankl devised a therapeutic intervention system to treat the noogenic neurosis, which is called the logotherapy. The term logos in a Greek word which means reason for a controlling principle. Thus, logotherapy seeks to assist the individual in discerning his or her logos or the reasons for existence. It assumes that humans have the capacity to work with a meta level which transcends the day-to-day events of life. For instance, during his time at a Nazi concentration camp, Frankl observed that some people could somehow find meaning in their suffering, and those who find this meaning were more likely to be the survivors. Thus, when we find ourselves in worst possible circumstances, there is an arena in which we have to make the choice about how we see the situation. We can take a stance towards our suffering or looking it in a larger context, or we can find some positive and meaningful goal that it may serve. Frankl believed that humans have a capacity for what he called paradoxical intention. This refers to the ability to do very opposite of what we are most likely to do. For example, people who have an irrational fear like the fear of dog may consciously do the very thing that they fear by going near the dog and trying to show him some affection. Upon several repetition, the fear may subside. Frankl believed that the capacity for a defiant or even heroic stance is hidden in all of us. It is a unique feature of humans. Now, American branch of existentialism, Rollo May. Rollo May called his theory of personality as the existential analytical perspective. He combined Freudian psychoanalysis and existentialism to explain his idea regarding the human personality. May believes that an individual can be understood in terms of his subjective sense of self. Abnormal behavior arises from the need to protect this sense of subjective self from the outer threats. So the person may give up on his self-growth in order to protect whatever little being is left. According to May, both existentialism and psychoanalysts believe that industrialization had a depersonalization effect on the human being's relationship with their own self and the others. The forces of industrialization in the 19th century led to the dehumanization of the individual by fragmenting his personality. The major tenet of his theory includes being in the world. Each of us has an inherent need to seek an unity between ourselves and the environment. All of us strive to achieve a conscious and unconscious sense of ourselves as a unique and autonomous entity. This being in the world comprises three simultaneous and interrelated modes: our physical and physiological surroundings, the social world of other people, and the psychological world of oneself, value and potentials. Non-being and anxiety. Death is one of the aspects of our existence that is inevitable and may terminate our being in the world at any moment. This prospect of non-being or nothingness can evoke anxiety, some amount of which is normal and an unavoidable part of our personality. Now, guilt. Guilt may arise when a person is not able to fulfill all of his or her innate potentials of relating perfectly to another and of always recognizing our communion with nature. Intentionality. It is the capacity of human being to have a conscious and an unconscious sense of purpose. Love. It is a delight in the presence of another person and a readiness to affirm that a person's value and development as much as one's own. Love always involves a blending of four components, albeit in varying proportions: sex, eros, philia, and agape. Will. It is the capacity to move towards one's self-selected goal. Dynamic. It includes the innate, benign, and illicit forces that are capable of dominating one's personality, such as sex, passion, and eros, procreation, rage, hostility, and the quest for power. Psychological health requires that the daimonic be accepted and integrated into consciousness. Now, the next concept is freedom. Freedom entails that one is able to think about various possibilities in their mind, even when it is not clear which alternative to take at that moment. This often can lead to anxiety, but healthy people are able to manage it. According to May, there are two forms of freedom: existential freedom and essential freedom. Destiny. May define destiny as a design of the universe speaking through the design of each one of us. The final destiny that every human being has to face is the death. Our biological properties, diets to certain illness, psychological design, and culture in which we live contribute to our destiny. Destiny is the goal that all of us have to reach, and within its boundaries, we have to choose our alternatives. This provides us with the courage to confront and even challenge our destiny. The power of myth. According to May, myths are powerful tools, a belief system that provide with answers to our personal and social problem. He pointed out when a society lacks myth, people turn to drug addiction, popular culture, and religious cult in a futile efforts to find solution to their problems. Myths unify our society. They are essential to the process of keeping our soul alive and bringing us new meaning in a difficult and often meaningless world. Now, summary. Humanistic psychology is a part of the third force movement in contemporary psychology. The major theme of all humanistic theories is that all of us have an innate tendency to grow, which help us to move toward the realization of our inner potentiality, given the environment is conducive. Different theorists have given different names to the innate growth processes, such as the drive towards self-actualization, self-realization, and selfhood. Existentialism as a school of thought is concerned with the nature of being. Existentialists believe that existence takes precedence over essence, and the human are always searching for the meaning of their existence. They consciously or unconsciously are asking the question related to their being: who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Existentialists believe that the theories tend to dehumanize individuals and objectify them, thus, they are strongly against theories. Maslow introduced one of the most influential humanistic theories about the human personality. His theory had three distinct features: his assumptions about human nature, his hierarchy of needs, his study of self actualizers. According to him, all humans are inherently good and their inner nature is very delicate and subtle. All humans have an innate tendency to realize their inner potential through love, joy, doing creative work. Rogers' theory took an optimistic view of human nature. He believed that humans are rational beings who are capable of to bring about a change in their lives through support and guidance of the therapist. He focused on the subjective experiences of the client, which he considered as the basis of human behavior. Ludwig Binswanger combined existential and phenomenological ideas. He explained that existential analysis is an empirical science that involves an anthropological approach to the individual essential character of human being. He contributed much to the idea of existence in the school of existential psychology. He argued that there are three modes of existence: unwelt, midwelt, and eigenwelt. Edward Boss developed a form of psychotherapy called Dasein analysis, which united the psychotherapeutic practice of psychoanalysis with the existential phenomenological philosophy of Martin Heidegger. He basically talked about the idea of Dasein and gave the concept of existentials, Gelassenheit, embodying force, and mood or attunement. Viktor Frankl set forth the system of thought called the logotherapy. The human need for a purposeful or a meaningless existence is the core idea in Frankl's system. He argued that most human problems are caused by the individual's inability to find meaning in his or her personal life. Rollo May's theory of personality is called the existential analytical perspective. He combined Freudian psychoanalysis and existentialism to explain his idea regarding the human personality. According to May, existentialism explained the individual tend to repress their self-awareness in order to protect themselves from the threat in the environment and consequently face neurotic problems.